seeing the end result of all these different rifles and how well they shot and just the different components that went into them just built up kind of an interest for me in doing this. And you know, it's always one of those things, like I'm often the last person to get the cool toy, so this was definitely one of those things.
Good hit, Andy.
I built a gun that I thought would be solid and would help me get into this without really having to work overly hard at being an amazing shooter. Our rifles are set up so that we can eliminate all the variables that make the shooting difficult. So if we don't have to worry about what the gun can do, and then we don't have to worry about what the ammo can do, then we're really just down to the shooter and the environmental conditions. Once I had the necessary parts on hand, it took me 1 weekend to build it, 1 weekend to do load development, 1 weekend to zero, and then the next weekend we shot our match. We had a deadline of a PRS match on February 3rd, so I had to get done before then for me to shoot it, otherwise I was just going to go watch. My rifle is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. We built it off of a out-of-the-box Remington 700 left-handed action. Being left-handed sucks sometimes.
But Glock cares about you lefties now.
I'm using an M24 profile barrel from Rock Creek Barrels, and I'm using an XLR Element chassis. The scope we went with was a Vortex Viper PST Gen 2. The XLR chassis have been really solid for us. They've really had a lot of the features all in one place that make the rifle extremely natural to shoot. I purchased the base model Element chassis, partly because I'm broke and partly because I thought it had everything I needed. We're shooting Hornady ELD match 147 grain projectiles. We spun them up to some good velocity for my rifle, so we're really taking advantage of that bullet's potential and its ballistic coefficient. That's why the 6.5 Creedmoor. It was a performance-based round to do what I needed it to do. I don't think there's any huge changes in store for my rifle. I'm not planning on doing anything major else to it. I've got accessories to buy and paint, but for the most part it's good to shoot like it is. So the whole day, it was actually pretty cold in the morning. I think we were pushing right around 30 degrees. I actually had to like bite one of the fingers of my glove and pull it off because I forgot to do that before I started shooting. It's kind of hard to shoot precision rifle with gloves on.
Hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you again.
I wasn't really nervous about par times or course of fire. They were all very easy for me to understand. The biggest things I had to deal with were finding targets and creating stability at each position so that I could actually hit the target. That was my big learning curve for the day. It wasn't so much how to act, under a timer, because I've done a lot of that, but more so just the core of PRS. Anybody can sit down and hit a 500-yard target with a 6.5 Creedmoor, but when you have to do that hanging the rifle off of about 2.5 inches of stability, it changes the game quite a bit. We stretched out that day all the way to 740 yards. We shot that off of a rooftop type situation. It was a manufactured prop, not an actual rooftop.
It's a little weak here. You want to avoid this area too.
It was still a pretty cool feeling. I was really appreciative of the way the master director set everything up. It was very well thought out and just a blast to shoot. That was an interesting one. I got some lucky hits in there and it felt really good to be able to pull something off for once. So my results were pretty fair to middling. Did about as well as can be expected for shooting your first PRS match ever. Just like any match, it's important not to get discouraged after your first match of anything ever. But I had the good fortune to have the two other rifles that I built place first and second. It's a good boost to us in our process. That was pretty cool. And I've had a lot of help getting to where we are now, so I've had a lot of good rifle builders kind of, coach me through how to do these things. I'm very, very proud of what our rifles have done, but it's not exactly something that I completely did on my own. But the fact that we can reproduce those results is kind of the key thing for me.